Waiting patiently, Tom Dienhart will be joining us via phone and for a little bit of breaking news on Purdue coaches, but also kind of a lay of the land with the Bob Diaco hiring. And Tom, are you there? And I'm not hearing, but I don't know whether that means you're there or not. Obviously, we want to be able to hit Tom on a couple of items that are being reported on our site today. It looks like some changes in the football coaching staff, hiring as well, and that will be something that we'll be watching. And well, he's still there?
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello, you got me? Hello.
I can barely hear him, but Tom, go ahead. You there?
Yeah, you got me. I can hear you, Alan. Yeah.
Okay, and hopefully you're hearing him a little bit better on the screen than I am here. But Tom, obviously, some interesting news on the coaching front that broke this afternoon. That the Boilermakers, it sounds like that may have a new special teams coach and some of the changes. Why don't you outline at least what you know at this point?
Yeah, the reports out, Alan, that Purdue is going to hire a special teams coach from North Texas, Marty Biaggi. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He's a young guy, Alan. I know he's well regarded from the few people I've already talked to. Did a great job in North Texas. He's from Kentucky. He's from Shelbyville, Kentucky. So you know there's probably a connection with the Browns somewhere. And he was a kicker and a punter at Marshall. So as you know, Purdue needs to spice up their special teams. And if you can believe it, this will be Purdue's fourth special teams coach in 4 years.
Yeah, big change there. I mean, a big need there to take a big step forward as well. It's hard to argue that as well. Possibly also a couple, with respect to the whole coaching staff, obviously that he'll be replacing. We don't know all the definitive details of what to expect there, but there are obviously some other changes that are possibly in the offing with that coaching staff. One of the things you can watch in Biaggi, and really interesting how he pulled off a 90-yard fake return touchdown you showed us today on YouTube. But sounds like there may be some innovation that goes with his background.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the return game that you allude to really needs to be spiced up. And you have a weapon like Rondale Moore, you have to try to maximize his skills in the open field. And last year, Alan, Purdue finished last in the Big Ten in kickoff returns, and they were 11th in punt returns. So, it's 1/3 of the game, special teams, and there's been some good parts of the special teams under Jeff Brom, kicking, punting, the coverage teams. But again, the return game in particular, Purdue could really use a lot more out of, and maybe this new addition from North Texas can bring that to the special teams.
And Gordon, I don't know if you had the ability to pull up the Holtz photo, but we are, obviously this week you ran a couple of really good stories on the site about their Skip Holtz celebrating the Independence Bowl victory. But you had a chance to talk to Skip about Bob Diaco, and also you had that chance to talk to Capron Lewis Moore as well. Tell me about the perspectives of what you gleaned about what to expect if you're a Purdue fan following Bob Diaco.
Yeah, talking to Skip, Allen, he was obviously disappointed to lose Bob Diaco. He was only with Skip 1 year down in Louisiana. He did a great job down there in his 1 year. The Bulldogs won 10 games, and they capped the season by shutting out Miami 14-0. So, Skip said Bob made a big impact. Just from the scheme standpoint, he runs a base 3-4, Allen, but he's not married. And he often morphs into a 4-3. And one thing Skip Holtz pointed out to me was, he's not going to make the personnel fit his scheme. Diaco's a smart guy, and he's going to build his scheme around what are the strengths of his personnel. He also put it this way, Alan. He knows where the itch is, how to scratch it. So Purdue's getting a smart guy, and I tell you what, a guy who brings a lot of energy to the field too.
It's going to be an interesting thing to watch as we get closer to spring ball, which will begin we think in the last week of February, and with the spring game likely April the 4th, as the Boilermakers do that. With the top 24, we were having some fun with that on the site, but also the fact that I think Sports Illustrated, but also Pat Forty talked about Purdue and put a graphic up. You see George Karlaftis, Rondale Moore in the middle, and David Bell on the side, and the Boilermakers a preseason top 24. Seems a little high to me, just based on a 4-8. They probably got the highest, at least from this media outlet. Probably I can't imagine many 4-8 teams in there, but certainly a lot of respect, at least from Sports Illustrated and from Pat Forty, about Purdue football. Is that how you take that, or how do you look at that? And I know it doesn't mean anything, but it's kind of fun to look at.
Yeah, this is the fun time of year, Alan. As you know, it's the off season when anything is possible, right? Every program has a lot of hope, and there's certainly hope for Purdue's program. We all know that. The talent's getting better. The storylines for 2020 are as juicy as ever now with these staff changes, with, of course, the new coordinator, Rondale Moore, coming back healthy. What's going to happen at quarterback? Will Purdue be better in the trenches? So, yeah, a lot of things could fall right for Purdue. There's no doubt about it. Maybe they will be a 7 or an 8-win team that finishes in the lower half of the top 25. If they're going to get there, as you know, Alan, you look at the schedule like I have, and there's a lot of heavy lifting there, especially right out of the gate. Of course, Purdue opens with a huge game at Nebraska, and then they come home to play a couple sneaky good, group of 5 teams in Memphis and Air Force, and they go to Boston College. Of course, in the Big Ten, they've got to go to Michigan. And again, the challenges are there, but again, we all have seen what Brett Jeff Brom has done in the past, and you never want to underestimate him.
No, it's going to be important, as we've said, in each of his 3 years. And there have been times when they've struggled a little bit getting out of the gate, but getting out of the gate will not be you better start strong next year. And I'm sure everything that they'll be doing from spring ball on will be trying to get this done. One last thing, you've been doing a lot of our senior season reports, and it's been interesting. Just of all the guys you've talked to, and we're talking about high school seniors that have committed to Purdue that are coming in. What has struck you the most about? Is there a common thread with the guys that that you've had the opportunity to talk to?
Well, I've been talking to the head coaches for a lot of these kids coming in, the class of 2020, Alan. I've talked to guys already on the site. There's stories posted with Josh Kaltenberger's coach, Ben Cryles, Kydron Jenkins, Colin Sullivan, Tyreek Murphy, just to name a few. I tell you, Alan, the one kid that intrigues me the most is Sanusi Kane from New Jersey, a safety, about a 6 foot, 220-pound safety. Talking to him and talking to his coach a few times the last 5 or 6 months, you can't come away not impressed with the kid, not just as a player, but as a person and as a leader. So many great things are said about Sanusi and his leadership in high school. And again, he's a hungry kid, Alan. He's got here early. He's already enrolled. He's going to go through spring ball. And, he's a guy, I know there's not a great need for help at safety, but he's a guy I wouldn't count out of maybe being one of those true freshmen who can contribute right away.
Going to be a storyline. Certainly there's room to move, certainly on getting offensive and defensive linemen, and certainly on defense, Bob Diaco is going to have to formulate and make this out of, like you said, he'll take the personnel he's got and make it work, and that's what's going to be an interesting storyline to follow. Well, Tom, thanks so much, and appreciate you being patient with my technical challenges here, but we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the set as well. So have a great week, and we'll be talking, I'm sure.
Thank you, Alan. Be good, buddy.
All right, we're going to take a quick roll call to say thank you, and Gordon Jackson and Steve Clark. Gordon is playing hurt today, not feeling very well, and came in and made sure this show happened. We very much appreciate that. And I don't think Sun West is here today, but we appreciate all the folks at WLFI that would help us make this happen. Next week we'll be on as well, be a game day of all things as well. We've got some guests lined up for that as well as we look forward to we'll be looking forward to the Purdue-Wisconsin men's basketball game. We'll be on next week at 2 o'clock on Golden Black Live. Until then, thank our sponsors, Triple X, Hilton Garden Inn, and of course State Farm agent Trent Johnson. We're grateful for you for all these years, our 10th year of doing this show, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week on Gold and Black Live.